Brose party, 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 brose party, 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 brose, 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 brose.
Hello and welcome back to the Brose Project. I'm Chris.
And I'm Cullen. Welcome back.
So, what's going on?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Jonathan and I just finished a series, and I was curious if you had heard about it and or seen it. And I feel like you already know the which one I'm going to ask you about, but it's called Heated Rivalry.
Okay, so on our social media, a gentleman named Tony was like, you guys need to see this. You need to talk about it. I haven't seen it. I will see it.
Okay, because I want that to be a part of this. I want like after you watch it, or maybe like videotaping yours and mine reaction.
Oh dear.
But I've seen the whole thing, and Jonathan and I were a little skeptical because people were like on social media, people were talking about it nonstop, and I just didn't feel like I was going to enjoy it, and I thoroughly did. I really did. Of course, I'm a gay man, and it's a gay love story, but it was good. So,
And didn't you mention the other day it was like the highest?
one of the episodes was according to an Instagram or TikTok or whatever,
okay.
the highest rated episode of a show
Ever.
That's what they said. I think it had like 10 star or 5 stars or whatever the highest rating was. And I don't know if it's still that. Maybe it was like a brief period of time, but it was a really good episode, and it ends so beautifully. I mean, I actually cried. Like,
Okay.
No joke. And I don't cry at stuff. My husband cries at everything. Sorry,
Jonathan.
He cries at tissue commercials, Charmin toilet paper. He's like, ah. It takes me a lot, but yeah.
Okay, which is fine. But we just went through a thing where you kind of grilled me about my scenarios and my situations with gay people. Now I'm going to give you a little grilling of how you feel about heterosexual people.
Oh,
You good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So I know that we've talked about this before. I know that there's a lot of things, but you opened up to everybody in my family except for my youngest son for the longest time. And I remember we specifically told you once you open that can of worms, and you were like, oh, I don't know if he likes us. And I was like, he's a lot like you are, in a sense where he's like, he needs to know that he can be his genuine self. And now I wish you good luck with that, because I see the way that you interact now, and it is priceless to me.
We are very similar. Okay, so yes, I feel like the reason it took us so long to, or me personally, I'm going to speak for myself, open up to him or feel comfortable is because he was so quiet. Like, I didn't know if he was sitting there, like, judging everything I was saying or doing, if he was enjoying what, like, the conversations we were having, if he enjoyed our company. And I think it also took a little bit of time for him to see who I was. And, like, I tried a little bit, but you're right. Once the genie was out of the bottle, like, there was no corking it back in.
Oh, there's
because
no corking it.
He is 100% himself, and I love him for that. But it is so funny because you're right. The interactions we have
Now?
just like 3 days ago were insane. I mean, it was funny. And we made videos. Jonathan made a video about it later because he was just being silly. So.
Actually, we should find that and put that on social
I think
media
we
because
should.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
But did he ever make you feel uncomfortable? Again, I think of it as like he's a child.
Yes.
And it's just quiet.
It's not so much he was making me feel uncomfortable. I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable being my authentic self. I also didn't want you all to feel uncomfortable with me being like, sometimes being sassy and like being crazy around him, because he is the youngest. And he's not a child. He is in high school.
Yeah.
Which is still, he's under 18, but he's much more mature than if I was, kikiing around a 6-year-old or 10-year-old.
Oh, now I need to know what that is, because I have no idea what kikiing is.
Have you ever heard of the band The Scissor Sisters?
No.
Okay, we're going to play the song maybe in the background of this video as it plays, but there's a song called Let's Have a Kiki, and they never really define what it is, but it's kind of like a fun gathering, a party, like kind of feeling comfortable with each other. So what people say in the gay world is kiki, like, do you want to kiki? Do you want to get together and hang? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to,
Okay.
it's a positive connotation on a gathering.
Okay.
So
I'm good with that. Yeah. So another topic that I've always thought about is like, do you ever feel that I shouldn't say being used, but do you ever feel like there's like straight couples, for instance, like again, you and I, my family and your family are very close. We talk openly, we talk about everything. But do you ever feel like there's people that are like, oh, I want to go to dinner with Cullen for like social, I don't even know how to say it, but like to give them a little bit of like a social boost. Sorry, yes.
like social currency, having the gaze around you sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't understand that currency for whatever reason, again, but
I mean, I'd like to think that most people we hang out with, that's not the case, but like there is the occasional like maybe I feel like it's something new to this person. Maybe they feel like it would be fun to have the token gay couple around. But honestly, it doesn't really happen where I live or where we live. I feel like sometimes it's a novelty in other areas where it's not so common to have a
big gay community.
big gay community.
Yeah.
So I don't feel it as much, but I'm not going to say I've never felt that way before.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And now, how do you know that you are, like we talked about it in the last episode, like how do you know that you feel safe?
Oh, like the safety thing that we were discussing where I said, like, I feel more comfortable expressing myself once I know this is a safe space.
Yeah, and you can be your genuine self, who we all love.
Yeah. And that's a tough one because it's a feeling. It's like, you bounce something off someone, like you kind of test the waters. Like you say something, and if that person smiles, laughs, or like, you just even interacts, you can continue testing a little bit more until like an actual open conversation happens. I mean, that's kind of like the coming out process. Like,
so you almost feel like you're coming out every time you meet someone.
Coming out is not a one-time thing. Everybody talks about when they came out. I had my coming out like at 18, my freshman year of college. But like I had another coming out, at the gym with our friends. At the time I wasn't with my husband, and I need to know who I feel comfortable like sharing this part of myself with. At work, I mean, in a professional setting, who do I feel comfortable knowing about me? And it took a while at work specifically to feel comfortable opening up about my sexuality because, I work with a lot of people who have different political, societal views as myself. And it's actually been a very beautiful thing because I'm really good friends with all of them. Like and now they know me for who I am, and I can kiki with them and laugh and joke, and we have a great time. But it wasn't always that way. It's I had to chip away and make sure I felt safe around these people before opening up.
And it's not like the whole group ends up being like safe at one point. It's like each individual person, you have to be able to, I guess, break the ice, if you will.
Yes.
Until you can be yourself. And that to me is absolutely crazy. But I guess even as a straight guy, you're still doing that, right? Like,
yes.
You can't walk around like being an alpha male and like I'm this and I'm that, and you can't do that. You got to understand how the other person is going to interact with you because at the end of the day, it's just respect.
Mm-hmm. Right? Are you an alpha male?
I don't consider myself an alpha male. Other people might argue that, but
yeah. I mean, you give like alpha with a little asterisk, male energy, which is like, yeah, I'm the man, but you also like you're caring. You're like you don't feel like you need to whip it out and I'm dominant.
Let me put it to you this way. I feel like I was very, very much like that until I had kids.
Oh, that changed a lot.
And you know what? One day maybe we'll get my wife on here to tell you that because I was very, very different before having kids and realizing you can't raise your kids like that. Like, yes, they have to be able to have their own opinion. They have to be able to think for themselves, but they can't walk around, like you said, like yeah, look at me. I'm this guy. I'm that guy. And I try my best. And I try my best to not be like that. But it's definitely in there sometimes when it needs to be. How about that?
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you, since this is the episode, I guess, where you're asking me all the questions that I have no idea what you're going to ask me, do you have any more questions for me?
I think that's it. I just like
I'm sure more will
I
come.
always feel like it's odd that as a gay man, you're always feeling like you're judged, and I mean, I get that every once in a while that you're being judged, but not every time that I meet someone, and it's really sad, actually. It's like
tiring.
saddening to me and tiring.
It is
There you go.
tiring. And that's why, myself, there's like a safety bubble and like a barrier of, you might not know me right away until I feel comfortable. And once, kind of like your youngest, once the cat's out of the bag,
I was literally just going to say the same thing. Like,
you're stuck.
you and him
Are so similar.
that, like, once you're out of the bag, there is no going back, and that's a good thing.
Well, and I love that, because the authenticity, being who you are.
Yeah.
That's what this whole podcast is about. Is I'm actually learning to be a little bit more of my authentic self, wearing my bling, feeling.
I was going to mention those really nice earrings
Thank
you have
my
there.
Christmas present for my husband. They're awesome. But yeah, I appreciate this platform to be able to go on this journey with you and with our viewers. So thank you for listening, and make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you submit some questions, please, because we want to be able to answer questions that you all have for us. So post below, comment section. I want it to be lit. And thank you for joining.
Take care.
Rose party, 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 rose party.